But we're playing. You guys said this is a new game?
This is a new game. It's right or wrong.
It's a new. We haven't played this game before.
We haven't. But I think we've got like 2 or 3 games at this point with right in the name.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Okay.
New
game.
5th game we've come.
All right. Right or wrong? Let's do it.
Yeah. Everyone thought Jabari Smith was going number 1.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, maybe even you, lost money betting on that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, the Magic took Banchero, who didn't even work out with the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, right or wrong, Banchero was right at the number 1 pick.
Okay, you're right. I thought it was going to go Smith, Holmgren, Banchero, Ivy. Instead, I should have known the Kings would screw up the 4th pick, and they would have the biggest reach of the first round, like they seem to always do, and Ivy would fall to 5. You gotta love what Detroit was able to do, staying there, getting Ivy. They have Cade Cunningham, kind of like what they're building there. But that's not the question you asked me. I said the day of the draft that I thought Paolo was the safest, meaning I think he is the surest fire thing to be a good NBA player. I think the most upside was Jabari. Now, if you're the Magic, do you want to go safe or do you want to go upside? Or maybe they thought Paolo had the most upside as well. I know a lot of people think the most upside's Chet. I would have taken Chet 4th or 5th. Like I would have taken Ivy ahead of Chet. I would have considered Shaedon Sharpe just based on his high school profile alone, and then I would have been comfortable with Chet at 5 or 6. But what I find fascinating about the Magic is they never interviewed or worked out Paolo. And the only explanation for that is, it was subterfuge. But you have the number 1 pick. Nobody can jump ahead of you. Right. You have the number 1 pick. So I don't know exactly why they went about it the way they did. With that said, I love him as a player. I don't think any of these guys are superstars. I don't think any of these guys are going to be Anthony Edwards, and I didn't think anyone in last year's draft, by the way, was going to be a superstar. Now, maybe Mobley will turn into one. I think Cade's really good. I don't think he'll be a superstar. But there's the last draft pick that I felt going into the draft is a franchise-changing guy was Luka. And the next one that I think coming into the draft is a franchise changer is the French kid, Wembanyama, who's 7'2" with like a 7'7" wingspan. He's unbelievable. What was the last American player that I thought going into a draft could absolutely change the trajectory of your franchise?
De'Aaron Fox.
I did love Fox just because I watched, but I was biased. I did think maybe you might be right that I thought that about Fox.
Yeah,
I just watched Fox score 40 and a half in an AAU game. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, that was the summer I was coaching you in AAU and traveling around. And I just kept watching De'Aaron Fox just cook everybody. Yeah. All right, what's next?
So Woj destroyed gamblers during the draft.
Mm-hmm.
He reported the incorrect reported the incorrect draft order in the morning,
mm-hmm.
and then spoiled every pick at night.
Mm-hmm.
Others do the same in the NFL draft. So, right or wrong, Twitter has destroyed the draft.
Wrong. I never have understood this complaint. They're not scrolling tweets on the broadcast. If you don't want it spoiled, don't read Twitter.
Exactly.
And by the way, you can still tweet without reading Twitter.
It's so crazy. We didn't discuss this before, but that was my exact take on the situation.
I've never.
I feel like it's an obvious one, though.
No, but I've never understood. This is one of those things people complain about, but it is totally self-inflicted.
Yeah, it's funny you say something about this because we didn't have a conversation about this or anything, but I had a very similar take.
It's the right take.
Exact same thing.
Guess what? It's like someone saying, like, I like to be surprised by what the weather is going to be like when I walk outside. So I'm angry at the Weather Channel app. Don't open it. Like, it's still available to you to be surprised. You can just watch the draft if you don't want to have the pick spoiled. So totally wrong. It's a ludicrous complaint. All right, what's next?
Bennedict Mathurin
mm-hmm.
is not moved by the NBA. Says LeBron is going to have to prove that he's better than him. He says,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, he says, "quote unquote." A lot of people say he's great. I want to see how great he really is. I don't think anybody is better than me. He's gonna have to show me that he's better than me. Right or wrong? Bennedict calling out LeBron is bad.
Listen, I appreciate the moxie and the confidence. I don't know that I would have gone with the LeBron James has to prove he's better than me approach.
The funniest part to me is a lot of people says that he's great. Like, what do you mean?
Well, right. That's the other thing is LeBron's been in the league for almost every single moment this young man's been alive. And so the idea that he's like, hey, I've heard good things, but I don't know. But now I do respect I always think I'm the best player type of thing. And that is what's hard for rookies is that they come into a league and they're not the best player on their own team, much less the best player in the whole league. But I also, let me see. I want to check the schedule here. Oh, we don't have the schedule yet. I can't check the schedule. I'm an idiot. I was going to say when they play each other for the first time.
I'll be watching his first game. I don't think that I'm not big on oh, I want to see this rookie. I like now what he has done is created a buzz around himself, I believe. Because I, for one, would not have been like, I got to see Bennedict Mathurin's first game. Or Mathurin, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm very motivated.
By the way, he was one of a number of Canadians drafted in the first round. Big Canadian contingent. Everyone riding that Andrew Wiggins wave. Yeah. He's also Canadian. Listen, I watched him in college. I think he won Pac-12 Player of the Year. So I give him credit. And he's top 10 pick of the draft. But he's on the Pacers. So he'll play LeBron twice this coming year. This is the other conference. I'm going to go ahead and guess LeBron will be aware of this and will do his best to have a couple moments with him, especially because, listen, he plays wing like LeBron, so they could match up against each other.
Dude, that's so scary.
I don't mind him saying, Chet was asked a few months ago, who's the best player in the NBA? And he said me in a few months. But the whole, he's going to have to show me he's better than me is maybe a bridge too far. All right, what's next?
So, all right, sweet. The Rockets are practicing with a 4-point line. The Rockets are practicing with a 4-point line in their facility. Right or wrong, the 4-point line should exist in the NBA.
Absolutely should not exist. It's wrong. And I want to show you a graphic because this to me is an issue with the NBA. Kurt Goldsberry does all these maps. He's like basically part NBA guy, part cartographer, where he shows shooting zones. And I'm trying to find the one that I saw just the other day where he talked about shot distribution in the NBA now versus a decade ago. Because adding a 4-point line would simply further make it to where long jump shots are the only shots people take other than threes. Other than layups and shots in the paint. And I don't think that is good for the health of the sport. I think that if anything, the league should go to a true arc, not flattening it out in the corners. That way there is no corner three and that way the mid-range starts to have a bit of a comeback. Because I understand the math of it. I understand why folks don't want why the mid-range is a bad shot. But I think aesthetically speaking, the league was better when there was more diversity of offense.
You say it wouldn't be healthy for the sport. I think it'd be a lot healthier for the players.
What do you mean?
Like as far as I think there would be less, pounding down in the paint. I think that people are going to be taking further shots, so there's going to be less contact. But,
That's true, but the flip side of that is guys have to cover so much more ground now defensively, and that would be exacerbated even further if they went to a 4-point line. Listen, they're not going to a 4-point line. There's the graphic. Thank you. Here it is. So if you look at the most common shot location 20 years ago, it was all over the court. Most common shot locations this year, it is in the restricted area, in the paint, in the dead middle, and then just threes. Nothing in the mid-range. And to me, that has made the game a little less fun to watch because everyone is bombing threes, and that seems to be the focal point of the offense. A 4-point line would make it even more so that. The real way to fix it, and I've said this before, is to switch the scoring from 3s and 2s to 4s and 3s, but that will never happen. The reason that would fix it is because then the premium on the 3-point shot, which will now be a 4-point shot, It'll only be a 33% premium instead of a 50% premium. It's the same reason why when you're playing pickup, if you play by ones and twos, it just comes down to who has the best shooter because it's 100% premium. But they'll never change it to 4s and 3s because people don't like math and because it would ruin the record books. All right, what's last?
Okay, well, we've got an unwritten no baseball rule on this show.
Uh-huh.
But this has to be seen.
All right, let's see.
Right or wrong, you can do this.
Skeeter's the only other team, aside from the Patriots and the Ducks, with double-digit wins on the young season, the 1-1. Cordulo swings and fouls it off towards the broadcast booth, and I make the catch on the foul ball. I am very proud of myself. I hope somebody got video of that.
Dude,
as I caught it on the fly. And it's a 1-2 count.
All right.
Boy, am I impressive. What a play by me.
Great job by that guy. So a few things. First of all, did you hear the team he mentioned? He said the Skeeters are the only other team. That's the Sugarland Skeeters.
I know. Yeah, I'm very
so
aware.
yeah. So that's we used to live just a few blocks from where they play. The Skeeters weren't in that highlight.
That's where I learned how to drive.
So
in that parking lot.
That is where you learned how to drive. That is absolutely right. Could I do that? Unfortunately, I must admit, I've been in a position to do that when I used to cover the Royals, where a foul ball came into the press box, and I did not snag it.
What? I mean, did you touch it?
I attempted to snag it, and it went through my hand and hit the wall.
Okay.
So I know for a fact that I could not do that.
Jeez, for a fact. I mean, that was one of one. You don't know if it. Come on, man. You got to give yourself a little bit more.
Not a great baseball player.
Okay.
Not a great baseball. I know my
not
limitations.
a great catcher. I don't even think that's just. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to grill you right now or anything, but you're saying you're not a great baseball player. As if it's not catching an item. Like it's a baseball. I'm not a great baseball player, and I feel like I could definitely do that. Well, with the mic on and everything.
I don't know that you could. First of all, maybe you could. You have good coordination. You're a good athlete. Baseball's different though, because I'm a great catcher
of
when
a
it comes to
basketball.
football. No.
Okay.
When it comes to footballs,
right?
But baseball's tough. They're hard. They're coming fast.
They are kind of scary.
You got to track it. There's a little fear if you're not used to it. It's a little harder. We have during the pod a little breaking Kyrie Irving news. We'll do that to wrap up the show next. What's right? Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.